Howdy, howdy, howdy. My name is Anachi Sasuke, and welcome back to Let's Read the SCP Containment Foundation Wiki shit. The SCP Foundation Wiki, that's the one. Okay, so, in the last episode, we left off with Top Het. I believe we left off with Top Het. I know we read the Lizard King. Top Het? Yeah. Okay, so, in this one, we're going to start with the Apoca Rubik's Cube, and I'm going to try to get to 100. I don't know how long it'll take, but I'm on 90, and it's right there. So let's see how far we get. Well, it's Keter. Artifact is to be held in a secure bunker at the facility of Site Something, and constantly monitored by approved Class D personnel, so class disposable. The object's new arrangement is to be imaged every time it ships. New arrangements are fed into the facility's Class OT supercomputer. Division Chief is to be notified of all changes in current estimates every half hour. No personnel is to touch 90 except under order blank blank blank. AXA security level has been created for monitoring 90. Non-AXA personnel found in the facility will be terminated, destroyed, killed. They will get got. Description: 90 was located and retrieved in blank blank on April 10th, 19-something. Prior to retrieval, it had been located in a chamber at the nearby cathedral. 90 was removed, the cathedral burned, 6 monks and the priest were terminated. 90 has been located at Site Blank since the retrieval. Object's initial location prior to the cathedral is unrecorded. It is a black cubic structure 20 by 20 by 20 centimeters made of an unknown ceramic material. I don't know why I don't just say 20 centimeters cubed. It's cubed, just say cubed. Isn't ceramic glass though? Can't it just destroy it? Object is classified as alright. Indestructible following tests outlined in document 90B unattached. Each side is divided into 10,000 individual squares, an arrangement similar to a Rubik's Cube. 100 segments per edge, each segment is 2 millimeters wide. God. Each square has a part of a design etched onto the surface. Etchings glow white. Unknown internal structure causes the realignment of a single row or column roughly every 2.8 seconds. Vague records of the object's alignments have been kept since 1242 CE, but those kept before 1533 CE have been lost. Modern technology has allowed the exact alignments to be imaged and recorded, as well as studied. Segments are divided by a thin white line, unless they are aligned correctly with the square directly adjacent to them. There are 22 correct alignments on the object's surface currently. See 25.90.90.4D unattached for the complete current object alignment. Let's see. So, those disposable people, or excuse me, that's one disposable person, is currently the only, I don't fucking know what that is. D, blah 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 blah, is currently the only alignment of 3 adjacent segments on the surface of 90. B, blah 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 blah, and C, blah 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 blah, are the 4 segment alignments. There's also a 6 segment alignment. See document 90B for research notes involving alignment effects, which we won't because it's not attached. Sorry you had to hear all that noise. Full item completion has been hypothesized to cause an unparalleled disaster to occur. So if the Rubik's Cube ever finishes itself, apocalypse, thus Apoca Rubik's Cube, which is a terrible name, but I didn't write this shit. Addendum, access security level personnel should see document 90B, which we can't because it's not here. Document 98, Dr. Blank Blank, experiment notes. Experiment 12. Observation is going well. We have managed to develop a system to record and analyze the shifts in the cube almost as quickly as they occur. No correlation between shifts in any world events found yet. Experiment 48. We observed a 6-segment alignment today on the first side. It was noted and passed without incident. 2 hours later, a research assistant returned from the break room with news that a tsunami had occurred in the Indian Ocean and caused hundreds of thousands of deaths and extensive property damage. No correlation is currently known, but we will make note of it. Experiment 150. After our 120th alignment on the 4th side of the cube and 120th accident report in the lab, we are designating the 4th side as local and will implement safety measures tomorrow. Staff are discouraged from making bets regarding the outcomes of alignments. Experiment 172. A 6-segment alignment was recorded this morning on the local side. As a safety precaution, Site Blank was evacuated. 2 hours later, a containment breach occurred, but resulted in no loss of life due to the evacuation. Object determined to predict events, not cause them. First site designated as global. Upgrade to Euclid status requested. Experiment 240. We stepped up our experiments today by attempting to modify the cube itself. When D-Class personnel blank attempted to make a shift, 90 immediately created a 10-segment alignment of its own accord near the top left corner of the local side. Exactly 2 hours later, SCP blank broke containment and data expunged. Agents blank and blank were also lost during the incident. Recommend forced shift testing of 90 postponed. Upgrade to keener status approved, as 90 is obviously capable of causing events of its own accord. Object may be sentient. I wonder what document 90B was, but we will never know. Next up is the Nostalgia. Robert Loggia. Okay, apparently Nostalgia used to be anomalous, but is now safe. 91 is to be stored in a standard containment locker at Site Something. When 91 is not being tested, it is to be placed under combination lock. Since 90 has shown no signs of resistance to tearing or damage greater than that of normal cardboard. Great care should be taken when transporting it to and from testing sites. During testing, no one other than the subject should view 91. Those suspected of having seen 91 are to be administered Class B amnesiacs immediately, and all personal recordings or images in possession of the subject, both print and digital, are to be destroyed to prevent recurrence. What? 91 is I have a Scotty's brand tissue box. It's not empty though, so it's fine. Scotty's, are you an SCP? Because I've been using you for like everything, and if you're an evil box of something, you need to let me know. It's got kittens on it. Currently empty. Immediately upon observing 91, viewers report an overwhelming sense of nostalgia. I'm not feeling nostalgia, I'm just feeling like I should stop staring at a box of tissues. Those affected begin reminiscing about times they were near 91, major events that occurred while it was present, or people and places that somehow relate to it. I remember I got it at the dollar store a few weeks ago, but other than that... 91 was originally recorded as an anomalous item and sent to Site 44 until one of the members of the recovery team, Assistant Researcher Blank, while viewing a recording of her wedding from 1990-something, noted 91 in the background of the film and noted a strong flood of nostalgic memories attached to it, including memories of it at the wedding, memories of it at the reception, memories of it during the honeymoon. A further interview with Assistant Researcher Blank's ex-husband demonstrated that he too remembered 91 in all of those places and situations, again noting strong feelings of nostalgia and fondness for it. Further investigation found that several people who attended the wedding remember it being there and the emotional effect. Others were asked to describe the wedding itself without being informed of 91. In these cases, they described the scene without including 91 until they were questioned about it directly. At that time, they immediately underwent the same previously observed effect. Continued testing under other situations has continued to produce similar results. Administration of amnesiacs has proven ineffective at stopping the effect if the subject is allowed to view an image or recording of 91. Of note is the fact that in each recorded instance of 91, the box pictured is full of tissues. You need to tell me if you're an SCP tissue box. You need to tell me if you're not just tissues. I'm watching you. Anyway, like, I was born in 1991, so I'm watching you, you motherfucker. So, wait, hold on. It's the best of the fifth dimension. I wonder if it's talking about the band Fifth Dimension. It's safe. Special containment procedures. The 3,125 instances of SCP-92 are to be held in individual cases suitable for containing non-anomalous audio compact disc CDs, and stored in standard inanimate object lockers at Site 37. Each instance is to be individually numbered with permanent marker. Testing of instances of 92 is to be done in soundproof rooms. Only one instance of 92 may be examined at a time. Only Class D personnel are to listen to previously unexamined instances of 92. Research proposals which Involved non-D-Class personnel listening to instances of 92 require written approval from Site Command. The cadaver of 92B is not currently considered anomalous except by association and is preserved in the morgue freezer at Site 19. Okay, so this one has some taglines I'm going to have to look at. So it's, okay, I guess I can't just open it. So it probably opens in here. Yep, okay. 92 is a set of 3,125 CDs, each labeled the absolute best of the 5th dimension, with how many exclamation points was that? 5? Makes sense. And marked with the names of the 31 performers who have at various times been part of the American singing group The 5th Dimension. Each instance of 92, when played in a standard CD player, will produce a distinct anomalous effect upon all individuals within hearing range. The phenomenon will last 74 minutes, the duration of a standard audio CD, during which times listener will be unable to leave hearing range or to shut off the CD player or otherwise interrupt its function. As well, when the anomalous phenomenon finishes, all surviving listeners will engage in synchronized vocalization of the phrase, "Wow, that was really cool." Synchronized vocalization has been observed in non-anglophones, pre-verbal infants, unconscious individuals, paralyzed individuals, and individuals physically incapable of speech due to layered throat shit, speak shit, or some other damage I've never heard of. The anomalous properties of each instance of 92 are thematically and conceptually linked to the number 5 dimensions and or the members of the 5th dimension. As of blank blank blank, 871 instances of 92 have been assessed and their anomalous properties formally described. See document 92W83 for a full list, or below for a representative sample. Listeners experience quintuple vision for all moving objects. Listeners' bodies exude pentagonal crystals of elemental boron. Listeners' bodies exude pentagonal ingots of elemental manganese. Listeners' bodies exude pentagonal nodules of the elemental cesium. Become physiologically 5 years old. Become physiologically 5 months old. Become physiologically 5 weeks old. Become physiologically 5 days old. Spontaneously become 5 months pregnant. Pregnancy spontaneously miscarry upon conclusion of CD. In initial tests, all male listeners succumb to massive internal hemorrhaging within 10 minutes, as do 3 female listeners. Surviving female listeners succumb to organ damage within 4 days. Post-mortem genetic analysis shows that all fetuses were identical and are not related to the listeners. Listeners experience unbearably painful facial spasms characterized by constant chewing and biting motions, symptoms of trigeminal neuralgia caused by inflammation of the 5th cranial nerve. During initial tests, all listeners batter themselves into unconsciousness against walls of testing chamber in attempts to escape the pain. Listeners' bodies are pentasected radially, producing 5 disconnected segments which remain alive and mobile. I don't think I want to know what that means. Pentasected laterally, producing 5 disconnected segments which remain alive and mobile. Pentasected longitudinally. I might as well find out what pentasected means. It probably means split into 5 parts. The amount of science it threw at me for trying to find out what that means makes me just want to not know anymore. Pentasected axially, producing 5 disconnected blah 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 blah. Teleported to a site on the surface of Himalaya, 5th most massive moon of Jupiter. Listeners are returned upon conclusion, but succumb to the combined effects of hypothermia, hypoxia, and radiation poisoning within 3 hours. Converted into 2-dimensional forms. Spontaneously lose 5 teeth. Teeth don't come back. Lose all but 5 teeth. They don't come back. Lose 5 fingernails. Don't come back. 5 toenails. Don't come back. 3 extra eyes for a total of 5. Extra eyes don't go away, and they're functional and of the same color as their eyes. Experience topological deformation such that their height becomes the circumference of their waist, and vice versa. Deformation reverts at conclusion of CD. This appears to be an exchange between listeners' dimension and height and width. Sneeze 5 times per minute. Belch 5 times per minute. Hiccup 5 times per minute. Oh god. Cough 5 times per minute. Find themselves within the 2010 Lars von Trier film dimension, where they are able to interact with the setting but not affect the actions of the characters. Since Dimension is only 27 minutes in duration, the events of the film repeat 2.74 times. Listeners find themselves within the 1993 EastEnders Doctor Who crossover Dimensions in Time, where they are able to interact with the setting but not affect the actions of the characters. Since the two parts of Dimension in Time are only 13 minutes in total duration, the events within episodes repeat 5.69 times. Listeners find themselves within the 1963 Italian film Amore Quattro Dimensioni, where they are able to interact with the setting but not the characters. Random moments in the life of Alan Shepard, the fifth man to walk on the moon. James Monroe, 5th President. Mackenzie Bowell, 5th Prime Minister of Canada. Edward Seaga, the Prime Minister of Jamaica. Karen Singh, Prime Minister of India. Helen Hayes, 5th winner of the Academy Award for Best Actress. Transformed into members of the original lineup of Fifth Dimension as they were at the time of the group's establishment in 1966. Transformed into members of the lineup as they were in 1975 and in 1990. And to members of the lineup as they are today. Listeners who transform into Ron Towson resume their original forms upon conclusion of CD, but do not resurrect. Damn. When an instance of 92 was inserted into the CD drive of a personal computer's files can be accessed without triggering the anomalous effects. Examination of the files indicate that each CD has a different content. All content is audio material by or pertaining to the Fifth Dimension and its individual members. In addition to all commercially released songs, files contain live performances, practice sessions, auditions, media interviews, and personal conversations. Acquisition log. On May 5th something, an unidentified man, henceforth 92B, carrying 2 suitcases, approached front gate guards at Site 19 and stated that he wished to surrender himself and his anomalous creations into Foundation custody. The contents of the suitcases were confiscated and classified as 92. 92B was transferred to Site 37 for interrogation. During interrogation, he revealed the thematic connections, 5 dimensions, and the 5th dimension between all instances of 92 and then committed suicide. Access requires level 4 security clearance. Let's just go ahead and assume we have that. Sir, this is private property. You can't... This is a secret Foundation site, right? You can't come in here, sir. You're the SCP Foundation and I'm a failure. What was that, sir? You're the SCP Foundation and I am a failure. I think I'm clever, but I'm not. I'm a boring, stupid, no-attorney hack who thinks that money and cheap puns can take the place of talent and inspiration. I'm tasteless. I'm dull. I'm incompetent. I have no sense of style, and the only reason I'm not an art criminal is that nothing I've ever made is even close to being art. You can secure me, and you can contain me, but no one can protect me. Please take me and my anomalous garbage into custody. At this point, guards summoned backup. 92B repeated this statement verbatim until he was taken into custody. Excerpt from transcript of 92B interrogation session 2. Yes, we understand about fiveness, thank you. That's been most helpful, but we were also wondering what you could tell us about how you made these. I just wanted to be cool, you know, I really did. I thought, well, I had my inheritance in my collection, and there was the estate and the abandoned museum, and so much of the stuff went together, and it wasn't that tough, and look, my ideas were better than yours. They were! I know they were! No, they're not! Nobody's impressed by my stupid facsimile wordplay. It's not even good wordplay. It's kindergarten level paranomasia. Oh, look, 5 dimensions. What other things can you think of that come in 5s? I'm worthless. I'm worthless. Better than my ideas. There's no deeper meaning to what I did. It's all just superficial, Potemkin village crap pumping imitation shit into the river of human achievement. It's Stein's fucking Oakland, and I don't even fucking understand those fucking illusions. I'm an uninspired wannabe, I'm boring, I'm a useless hack with no fucking imagination. I've wasted and ruined miracles, I've squandered so much raw potential that better people could have done so much with. I'm not cool, I never will be, I'm really sorry about the mess. These aren't my arms. At this point, 92B seized his own head with both hands and ripped it off his neck, killing himself instantly. Damn. Let's see. Footnotes. Requests have been made to use 92-200 to send exploration teams equipped with environment suits to Himalaya. Approval is pending. 92-714, who had lost an eye in a fight prior to Foundation custody, grew 4 extra eyes when listening to 92-278. Although 92 was taken into custody in blank, Von Trier began production on Dimension in the 1980s with the intention of continuing for 30 years. So let's see if that CD with that name is actually a thing. No, it just goes straight back to, the SCP Foundation. But while we're here... I didn't know that band was black people. So, next up is Red Sea Object. Well, it's Euclid. Special containment procedures. Well, that's some extra shit going on in there. Anyway, see testing document 93 T1 Twun for outline of testing conditions. 93 must remain on a mirror at all times and under video surveillance. Admittance into the area of 93's containment must be authorized only with proper video recording and subject retrieval procedures in place. Any attempt to use 93 outside of an approved test area will be dealt with severely, up to and including termination. Come on now, everybody always just gets killed in this freaking wiki. Description: 93 is a primarily red disc carved from a stone composite resembling cinnabar. Isn't cinnabar a thing from Pokemon? Wait. Cinnabar is an actual thing. What's cinnabar? Cinnabar is a toxic mercury sulfide mineral with a chemical composition of Higgs. It is the only important ore of mercury. It has a bright red color that has caused people to use it as a pigment and carve into jewelry and ornaments for thousands of years in many parts of the world. So does that mean Cinnabar Island? Oh, that's in Pokemon Yellow, which I've never beaten. Is it red? It is? Well, how about that? I mean, it probably wasn't red in the original. Oh shit, it was red in the original. With circular engravings and unknown symbols carved at 0.5 centimeters depth around the entire object. Deeper cuts are present on 93 with a depth of 1 to 1.5 centimeters. 93 is 7.62 centimeters in diameter and fits comfortably into most palms without abrasion. I feel like mercury would not fit comfortably anywhere. 93 will change hue when held by a living individual. The colors taken by 93 are still being researched to establish a link to the past. Current belief holds that the changes depend upon regrets carried by the holder. So it's a mood disc? If 93 is removed from a mirror and not held by a person, it will seek out the nearest mirror-like surface. Glasses? It has been observed to travel in the largest possible circle while rolling, building up phenomenal speed. Gotta go fast! The mechanism of this acceleration is currently unknown. Gravity. If an obstacle is between 93 and the nearest mirror-like surface, it will use this momentum to punch through the obstacle and continue on its course at this speed. Turbonish speed. It will only stop when a mirror-like surface is contacted. Despite tremendous impact velocities, no damage will be dealt to 93 or the mirror. Additional notes. No records exist to clarify the nature of 93's discovery or presence in the Foundation. See SCP-93-ODD. Since no records exist explaining its method of containment, a test procedure was initiated to establish why mirrors must be used to contain it. The results of 93-T1 led to the discovery of living beings holding 93 being able to move through mirrors, and the series of tests in 93-T2 to ascertain the destination reached through this travel. Okay, so... oh, it's the original documentation. Item blah blah blah, silver line mirror, blah blah blah. 4 feet off the ground, object not to be contained in areas exceeding blah blah blah, or nor placed on mahogany, pine, cherry, or aluminum. Description: found on the shore of the Red Sea, January 1968, emitting a low sigh and a dim blue gleam. Its color has since turned into an orange mix of red, only emitting a hum of varying volume whilst in the presence of female examiners aged between 34 and 41. It resembled the documented blue for 54 minutes and 34 seconds at 1:23 on April 26, 1986. Coincidentally, when the body of 194-9834 was discovered in a research facility somewhere. Ties between that and 93 remain inconclusive, and effects of prolonged exposure to 93 remain unknown except for infrequent reports of periods of calmness, and in the case of 24249, as periodic waves of depression, loss of balance, and thoughts of suicide. These feelings have reportedly not exceeded 11 days in duration. Objects seem to react to the presence of 24256 by turning light violet for no more than 2 minutes and 9 seconds, as documented on 12th of March 1993. Effects of this reaction remain unknown. Origins of 93 remain unknown, and documents of recovery of 93 have since been destroyed in a fire in research facility blank on December 9th, 1989. Reports of the feelings of researchers who handled 93 have remained inconsequential since 19th of April 1995. Test T1. Testing of 93 against conditions set forth by, 4 existing containment procedures to assess viability of continuing such containment, beginning with the changing the type of mirror used as a position of rest. Mirrored surface, brass frame, retail grade mirror. Rests without activity when placed on the mirror. This test alone removes the need for costly silver or wooden containment systems. Standard grade table. Turns upright and begins to roll across the table surface in one direction, making a U-turn and rolling to the other, completing an oval shape and repeating this action until a mirror is brought into the vicinity of it, at which time 93 rolls toward the mirror and lays flatways against it, sliding towards the center. It is noted that despite the grainy feel of 93, it does not mark the mirror in any fashion while moving across it. 2 mirrors at either end of a standard grade table. 93 gravitates towards the closer mirror regardless of orientation. It makes no distinction between types of mirrors, favoring a factor of distance above all else in choosing the mirror to move to. A mirror held by a person and moved around. 93 follows the mirror as it moves, gaining speed until a maximum velocity of blank is reached. At any velocity, the impact of 93 against the mirrored surface results in no damage to either object. A person holding 93 placing it on a mirror. This test was accidental, the result of one of the staff tripping another after some debate about who would be covering the lunch tab. As a result of the behavior of the researchers, it was discovered that a person holding 93 and placing it against a mirror will in fact move into the mirror. Addendum. Containment testing discontinued after establishing that 93 requires only a mirror to rest inert. Testing on human interaction with mirrors while containing 93 authorized by Dr. Blank. Testing protocols of the mirror test. Subjects testing 93 must wear a Class 3 buckle harness strapped to the chest and attached to a tension pulley system allowing for 1,000 feet of movement. Additional spools may be added to extend movement if necessary. Oh, there's some testing right there. The class connecting these spools must be high grade and capable of withstanding applied force of 2 tons. A field kit containing the following should be standard issue for testing of 93. 1 wrist-mounted light source with 3 hours lifespan and additional power sources providing up to 6 hours. 4 liters of water. 4 half-liter bottles of water. 4 Maries of any type, plus 2 plain granola bars. Oh, that's probably military rations. Chocolate chips allowed. 1 standard issue Beretta 9mm firearm with 24 rounds of ammunition loaded. This is not to be issued until subject has passed into a mirror using 93. It should be given under armed supervision, ensuring that the subject passes through entirely. This item is to be requisitioned first upon the subject's return, and subject to be made aware of this before leaving line of sight within 93's mirror. 1 standard issue field knife. The subject is not to be made aware of this item and must find it on his own within the kit. And there's a lot of things going down here. The subject must also be attached to a video system with a camera mounted on their head or shoulders. The video device should be cable-based and allow for the same length of travel as the return system. Wireless cameras have shown mixed results and should only be used in testing conditions where 93 is currently a known color. New colors must be tested using wired feed. During testing, the color of 93 must be recorded, as well as a history of the subject in terms of their incarceration to identify how 93 determines the color to assume. Shit. Okay, go back. A link appears to be connected to guilt or lack thereof in the subject's psyche. The attached test results should be read in order. Okay. Boom. Subject is D23A4, male, 34, strong. Subject's background shows instance of murder/attempted suicide. Cooperative in all steps of testing. Enter the provided mirror while holding 93, which emitted blue color. Outside technicians observed that the mirror retained a true reflection until subject had completely passed into it, at which time the view changed to an outdoor landscape heavily tinged in blue. Video feed follows in attached media. Camera activates. Flickers to view. Subject is looking out over the same field reported by technician. Looks like a typical lowland plains. Everything has a heavy blue tinge overlapping the normal colors. No discernible landmarks visible as subject pans view left to right. Only grass, weeds, and a breeze moving the taller grass. No trees, no living beings visible. Subject moves forward as instructed, traveling for approximately 500 steps before something becomes visible. A patch of the land up ahead is barren and grass can be seen dying as the subject approaches it. Approximately 300 steps forward, a subject is standing before a hole in the ground. The hole has been dug using unknown tools of primitive origin. Pulley system engaged and the camera suffers a light shudder. Subject is instructed to enter the hole, and after mild protesting agrees to do so. There is no apparent method of descent such as ladder or rope. Subject relies entirely on his own hands and the pulley system to slow the descent. Approximately 100 meters of cable is used before a bottom is reached. Light source provided in field kit activated 50 meters down when outside sources become unreliable. Sweeping gestures of the light reveal nothing more than dirt even at the bottom of the hole. Subject moves forward with assistance of light source. Asked about blue tinge, subject expresses confusion and says there is no such tinge from his perspective and never was. Light is visible down the passage and 150 meters of cable have been used. Out of the camera's eyes, sound is recorded of the firearm being prepared. When questioned about these actions, subject states justified precaution and moves forward. The tunnel turns from a bare dirt to a concrete enclosure. Subject complains of a stench. The light source is revealed to be a ceiling light fixture, a series of which with less than a quarter broken while the others function. A series of 6 doors, 3 to a side, span before the camera view within the 7th door. View with a 7th door at the end of the 7th door visible at the end of the corridor that has been blocked by what looks like generic metal shelving debris. Debris shows sign of rusting and is typical of retail store units suggesting other human presences. Subject is requested to try doors in whatever order he chooses. Tries first door on the right, locked, doesn't open. Second door tries to open but won't move, unlocked but blocked. Third door tries, same results as the first one. Going to the other side, third door does open fully and light is bright in the room. Portable light switched off at this time as subject pans camera to inspect room. Room is bare, no contents but walls are filthy. Subject states material on walls isn't dirt but he can't identify it. Seems to resemble melted plastic but is brown in color rather than black. Door is closed. Second door on left has no handle, does not move when pushed. The hole where the handle was is plugged by an unknown material. All doors are shaped in such a way that nothing can visibly escape from the sides and space for movement is too thin to look through even at ground level. The first door on left hand is locked, but part of the key is present in the lock. From stem to ridges. The back has been broken off. With effort, subject manipulates key to open door and immediately begins coughing, complaining of a stench. Walls of room are clean as his floor. Ceiling is coated in the same strange brown material as the third room. In this room, there is a makeshift cot made from aged blankets with a pillow, a wooden crate containing open boxes of what appears to have been foodstuffs. Language appears on video as squiggles, however subject states they simply read cereal. A second crate in the room contains what appears to be empty water bottles that have dried out. A book lays next to the cot, closed with no title or identifying marks. On the wall is what appears to have been clipped articles, but language cannot be read. Subject asked to remove clippings for retrieval. All articles but one crumble at the touch due to age. The attacked article is put in a filled sample container and seems the most recent compared to the others. Asked to investigate the book, subject begins to move toward it. Audio on the tape goes strange, and a high-pitched screeching noise like grinding metal dominates all communication for 3.5 seconds. Subject has not touched the book still, and when the noise stops, subject asks Control to repeat requests. Control made no request during that time as headsets were removed. Subject advised to leave room and notes that the door has begun closing slowly on its own and if left alone will close. Subject advised to leave door alone and investigate door on right. Careful review of the following 10 seconds of tape shows that as the camera pans, a figure is visible at the end of the tunnel where the 7th door is. The door is open only enough for a face to be seen through a crack just before the door silently closes. No details can be seen. Subject investigates the 2nd door on the right with no mention of having seen anything seen out of the ordinary. This door, when pushed against, moves, and after repeated bashings, moves enough to view inside at an angle. A corkboard is visible with more articles attached to it. The top of a box of cereal can be seen on the floor, and what appears to be a hand laying palm up. Subject closes door and pans camera past door 7, which remains closed. Subject seeing nowhere else to explore, subject requested to return. Subject poses no protest and complains of ever-increasing stench. Sorry about the sniffles. For whatever reason, the longer I read this wiki, the more stopped up my nose gets. I don't know why. As subject returns back down tunnel, his camera feed does not change or show anomaly, but Control reports a sudden surge in cable movement, pulling an additional 100 meters of cable through before going slack again and then tightening. Video feed shows subject ascending tunnel slowly while Control attempts to verify integrity of the pulley system. Subject requested to stop ascent but states he is not climbing, the rope is pulling him up. Panic sets in on both sides and subject is informed to ready firearm. Upon reaching top of hole, nothing is visible on camera and subject reports nothing has changed in landscape. Then begins a return trip following the path of the cable. Traveling for approximately 900 steps, subject asks how much cable he has used. Control admits they are unsure due to complications, but subject traveled in a straight line to reach the hole, so it should be a straight line back. Subject becomes concerned when he states that more cable is visible now, moving in a 90-degree angle away from a point in the ground. Subject pans camera around full circle slowly. On film, behind subject, a crowd of 37 countable figures stand silently. Features are unidentifiable and they are lacking the blue tinge that dominates the landscape. Panic breaks in and Control again, but subject notes only oddity as being the cable having an angled path. Subject tucks his end of the cable. It is taut and does not move. Control begins to reel in the pulley system and slack rapidly winds. Watching the angled cable movement can be seen as grass is disturbed further down the angled portion from the reeling in, then the line vibrates as it meets resistance and emits a twang from the recoil. Subject's camera pans back along length of cable, which now appears to be slowly allowing more slack before suddenly all slack is returned and pulley system begins again. Control requests subject return following the cable path, and screams are called on the audio with panic from subject. 5 shots fired as subject aims pistol at something not visible on camera. Control reports being able to see subject returning towards point of origin while camera shows wire disappearing into a point floating in the air. As subject passes this point, all cable is now in the pulley system and camera films only the floor. Control reports that the mirror took approximately 5 seconds to return to a reflection, and 93 remained blue in color until 1 hour after being recovered from subject. A vile-smelling fluid was present on subject's clothes around his hands when firearm was recovered. The fluid dried quickly and was deemed insignificant of study due to lack of quality sample. Control personnel monitoring the mirror state having seen a massive human being crawling on the ground, easily 50 times the size of a normal person with no facial features and a very short arm reach, pulling itself towards the mirror before it returned to a reflection. Due to proximity, fine details could not be made out, but at least one observer noted the face appeared to have been shot from the marks in the otherwise smooth, featureless face. Field test kit recovered from subject containing a newspaper article that reads, "Data expunged," and was filed as item data expunged. The next test is classified as green test. Oh, it just does it on its own, okay. But it looks like they're all going to be really, really long. And how far was I? The Red Sea object is 93, then that just leaves Miniature Event Horizon, The Atomic Adventures of Ronnie Raygun, The Shy Guy, Old Fairgrounds, Surgeon Krabs, and The Portrait. So, I'm thinking there's going to be a shorter episode that's just me reading the rest of these, and I'm going to stop this episode here. And after I read the rest of these, the next episode will be 94 through 99. So, this has been Anashi Sasuke. This was Let's Read SCP Foundation episode... Which episode? I want to say 22? When it loads, I'll say. Let's just assume it's episode 22, because I think yeah, it's 22. Okay, so, thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Later!